Man, this Holosun 512C optic, the Radian short throw safety, and this single stage Geisley trigger make for a very fast gun. Too much fun. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. Today, I want to talk about this optic. This is the Holosun HS512C. I did a little bit of like an unboxing and stuff on it when I first got it, when I was building the firearm that it's on. But now that I've had a chance to use it quite a bit, I absolutely love this optic. And I've heard that they're discontinuing it, which makes no sense to me because this thing is fantastic. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon, and leave me a comment if you know about this optic and what you think about it or what you run instead. We're having fun out here in the snow today. So if you've been following my channel, you know about this gun. This is my 300 blackout build that I did relatively recently. It's my most recent build. New build series coming very soon, by the way. I've already ordered the frame for it, so stay tuned. But this build, I wanted to make it the perfect, fast home defense build. And it literally is that. It's got a great light on it. There's a stream light. This optic, it's got the, 45-degree safety here by Radian, which I absolutely love. Fantastic Geisley single-stage trigger. And it's just a perfect gun for home defense. Short, 300 blackout. It's going to be suppressed, but as you know, if you know anything about the NFA, that suppressor is still in jail. Probably a couple more months until I can make this a quiet boy. But one of the highlights of this build is this optic. And in fact, it's probably the most expensive part on it, now that I think about it. But well worth it. And I'll tell you why. So, when I was figuring out what parts I wanted to use for this build, originally I was going to use an EOTech, ESPX3 or EXPS2. They even make a 300 blackout specific EOTech that has like a bullet drop compensation reticle. But what I really love about the EOTech is a couple things. One, the big window. And two, I like the circle dot reticle, which is ideal for a CQB type of platform. And this optic has both of those things and more, in my opinion, for less money. And that's the great thing about it, is EOTech, you're gonna spend $450, $500, $600. This optic was less than that. It was like $350 if I remember right. It might have even been less than that. I think it was around $300. But anyway, a couple $100 less than the EOTech, but it has all the features that I was looking for in it. Mainly, it's an enclosed emitter optic. Now the EOTech is holographic. It's not a red dot. So it's not quite the same type of technology, but a lot of people run the 512C Holosun. I see that one seems to be a lot more popular than this one. And the 512 or the 510C is very similar, but it's an open emitter, kind of like the style that I have on my pistol here, where, there's nothing wrong with an open emitter optic, except for where I live, it snows all the time. I go out and I shoot on snowy days. Snow can get in front of that emitter, and then you don't have a reticle anymore. Also, if it's fogging up or you get anything in on the actual window of it, you have to try to get in there to clean it out. Whereas with a closed emitter optic like this, you can literally just wipe off, either lens on it and you're good to go. But the main thing is that it's very rugged. There's nothing that can block that emitter, nothing that can really cause you any problems with this thing. It's built with a 7075 T6 aluminum housing that is extremely solid and rugged. And it's got that circle dot reticle that I wanted for CQB. I think you can see that reticle there pretty well. And you can also see how big and clear the window is. And that's what I absolutely love about this thing. Your field of view is gigantic. Now, I've been using red dots for a while. I kind of, as far as for like budget red dots, I've gone with the SIG Romeo 5s. I've got a couple of them. This one here has a magnifier behind it. This one does not. It's a great red dot, especially for around 120 bucks. This one costs more than double that, but in my opinion, it is worth it. And we're going to talk about why. So here we have the HS512C in all of its glory. The specs on it are that it has the enclosed design. You get a 50,000 hour battery runtime, which is much, much more than you get with a holographic design like the EOTech. That's 50,000 hours if you're just using the 2 MOA dot. If you're using the circle dot, which is the reticle that I like to use, you still get 20,000 hours of battery life, which is pretty fantastic. It's got a 2 MOA dot and 65 MOA circle, which I've tried to do this on camera before, and it is not easy. So we'll try to show that again in a minute when we're not up close. Solar failsafe, which is this right here. So if your battery does die, as long as you have some light around, you will still have an optic that works just fine for you. It's got a memory function for the brightness setting, meaning that, it has shake awake. So after a certain amount of time of not moving it, it turns off to save the battery life. As soon as you grab it, move it in any way, it is immediately on. And it has a memory to go back to whatever brightness setting you had it on originally. It has 10 daylight and 2 night vision brightness settings. I don't have night vision, but I've heard that this optic runs great under night vision. 1.41 inch center dot height, which is absolute co-witness. I don't have backup irons on this gun because I don't quite have enough rail space on such a short platform with my pressure pad for my light up here. So I felt like the light was more important than backup irons. And part of that is because this is such a reliable optic. I didn't feel like backup irons were 100% necessary, even though I normally do run backup irons on everything else. Just happened to be not quite big enough on this gun. The battery tray here is quick release, which I don't really know why you would need that on a battery tray, but it is fairly easy. It's very robust and solid, but this basically comes out, you turn it, tray comes out, you can replace your battery, stick it right back in. The actual mount that mounts it to your 1913 Picatinny rail is very solid. Here you have your elevation and your windage adjustments. And on this side, you have your up and down for your brightness adjustment. This thing is also programmable. So when I first got it, it was programmed to auto adjust. So your solar panels up top would detect the amount of ambient light and adjust the brightness of your reticle according to how much light was up there. But for home defense, meaning that I might have to use this in the dark, what I found is that these solar panels don't detect the amount of light in front of your weapon-mounted light. So if you're in a dark room running the light, you wouldn't have enough brightness on your reticle. So I have changed it to manual adjustment, and I adjust it up a little bit when I go out shooting in bright sunlight, back down to the perfect brightness setting to where it doesn't wash out when I'm running the light, but not so bright that it's a giant mess that's going to burn my retinas. It is also IP67 rated as far as your water resistance, and I have ran it outside in the snow and the rain, never had any problems with it there, and parallax free, which it absolutely is. So here we can see the reticle, and you can see as I move it around that there is no parallax. Now, any optic is going to have some parallax. So even when they claim parallax free, it just means it is as parallax free as you could possibly make an optic. And just look at how big, how clear that window is, and how crisp and perfect that circle dot reticle is. This is about as fast of a target acquisition type of optic as you can get, and I absolutely love it. So at this point, I have run a lot of rounds through this, all supersonic rounds so far, because I don't feel like wasting money on subs until I get my can. But it is very quick, very fast on target because of this optic. And that, again, combined with the short throw safety and the Geisley single stage trigger, makes for a very fast firearm to get your initial shots off. And I absolutely love it. I highly, highly recommend the Holosun 512C. I don't know why they would be discontinuing this optic. This is my favorite Holosun optic that I've used so far, and I would use it on future builds. So I really hope that it stays on the market because it's a fantastic optic at a fantastic price. In my opinion, you get all of the same features that you want out of an EOTech, plus a better battery life for a lower cost. And that is really hard to beat, in my opinion. So if you're thinking about getting this optic, I would recommend getting it before you can't anymore. It is a fantastic value, a great red dot, and I don't think that you will be disappointed in any way. And I can imagine that if you put a magnifier behind this, like a G33 or G45, you know, set it up the same way people do with their EOTech and magnifier, I feel like it would work just as well. Now, I don't have an EOTech. I will admit that. I have limited experience with one. But from my experience with this so far, I'm not disappointed in it. And I was wondering when I ordered it, like, man, should I just save up that extra 200 bucks and get the EOTech? And I'm very happy with this Holosun. Holosun is doing great things on the market. They are, what's the word? They just keep putting out so much more new and better innovative stuff these days. Their pistol optics are, in my opinion, the best on the market. And I know, you know, Trijicon RMR, yes, it has that track record, you know what I mean? But they haven't really done anything to innovate in years, and neither has EOTech. And Holosun just keeps innovating. They keep putting incredible things on the market, both pistol and for rifle platforms, or, you know, AR pistol. But you know what I mean? They are doing awesome things. People talk about it, you know, being Chinese-made stuff. Well, you know what? The phone that you're watching on this was made in China. A lot of things are. That doesn't mean that the quality isn't there by any means. It is an American company. Even if their things are assembled in China, they're very high quality, and because of that, we get them at a lower price point. So it's hard to complain about that. You get a great battery life, you get the solar fail-safe, you get the big window, the circle dot reticle, everything that you want out of a CQB optic, enclosed reticle. I mean, it would be hard to ask for more out of a home defense optic, in my opinion. This thing is fantastic. And, you know, I know that most of my reviews are fairly positive of the things that I review. Well, that's because I want to review things that I like. And I've been very honest, you know. I've had guns like this thing, this 1911 here, Springfield Ronin 9mm. It had a lot of problems at first, and I did a whole video about the problems I had with this gun. I've got no problem telling the truth, being honest about something. But this optic from Holosun has given me zero problems, and it has been very impressive in my opinion. I highly recommend it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave me a comment What do you think about Holosun optics, or this one in particular? Do you run an EOTech? What do you run? I will have a link down below for Amazon where you can buy this at generally the best price you'll find it on the internet, and it is an affiliate link. So if you click on that, it gives the channel a little bit of a kickback. Doesn't cost you anything extra. In fact, saves you some money, helps me out. There'll also be a link to the Patreon down below if you want to help me out in that way. It's a great way to support the channel and is greatly appreciated. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.